Hey guys, in this video I'm going to do this Calculus 3 problem. It says determine the angle between two vectors a and b, and we're given the two vectors in IJK notation. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. So IJK notation means the vector is in three-dimensional space and it breaks down the direction and the magnitude of each vector into three components, IJK, where IJK referred to the different directions in three dimensions. I refers to the x direction, j the y direction, and k the z direction, and it assumes that these vectors are going to come out of the origin, which is the point 0, 0, 0. So the problem gives us one vector with a certain magnitude and direction coming from the origin, and then it gives us a second vector that has its own magnitude and its own direction, and what we want to solve for is the angle, which I'm going to denote as theta, between these two vectors. To determine the angle between two vectors, we're just going to plug into a formula, which is that the cosine of theta, which is the angle between the two vectors, is equal to the dot product between the two vectors a and b divided by the magnitude of a times the magnitude of b. So to find the angle, we just have to solve for theta. To do that, I'm first going to rewrite a and b in vector notation. So that's going to be 2, -1, 3 for a, and -6, 3, -9 for b. And I'm first going to calculate the dot product of a and b. So the dot product of a and b is going to be equal to the multiple of each component summed up. So that's going to be 2 times -6 plus -3 plus -9 times 3. So the components are -12 plus -3 plus -27, which in total is equal to -42. So that's going to be the numerator. If you have a vector A in three dimensions, and the dimensions are A1, A2, A3, then the magnitude of A is going to be equal to the square root of A1 squared plus A2 squared plus A3 squared. So for our vector A, that's going to be 2 squared plus 1 squared plus 3 squared under the square root, so 2 squared plus -1 squared plus 3 squared is going to be equal to the square root of 14. And then we have to do the same thing with b, so that's going to be the square root of -6 squared plus 3 squared plus -9 squared. So that's -6 squared plus 3 squared plus -9 squared, which is equal to the square root of 126. And then we're ready to plug into the formula. So we have cosine of theta is equal to -42 divided by the square root of 14 times the square root of 126, which is equal to -42 over, if we multiply 14 and 126, that's going to give us the square root of 1764. And if we take the square root of that, that's equal to 42. So it's going to be -42 divided by 42, which is equal to -1. So we have the cosine of theta is equal to -1. If we take the arc cosine of -1, that's going to give us theta, and the arc cosine of -1 is equal to pi radians, or in degrees, it's equal to 180 degrees. And so this is our final answer, and we're done with this problem.